Well, good evening, everybody. How's it going? Welcome on in, and welcome to Soccer's Overtime, your weekly look inside the San Diego Soccers and the Major Arena Soccer League, streaming live, courtesy of San Diego Football on the wondrous world of YouTube. With Tony Sanchez, I'm Craig Elston. We're together with you. It's another Tuesday night. It is Season 7 of Soccer's Overtime. It is Episode 10, and it's the playoff before the playoffs. 3 amazing results in the immediate rearview mirror and ahead. A match that could decide the whole season when all is said and done. Can't put too much pressure on the boys, Tony. Not with such a great winning streak going on. It's great to have you here for what should be a jumbo stuffed show tonight.
No, it's very exciting to see the trajectory that the Soccers are on, and really the sky's the limit right now, and it's really on to them. They have and they control their own destiny the rest of the season.
We've got such a big show. We're going to start rolling. Here's what's on the show tonight. We got a triple match recap. 3 matches, 9 points. Soccer's getting them all from Empire, St. Louis, and Kansas City. We'll review the Missouri weekend before our guest will put Empire after the interview. Who's that guest? Xavier Snaer-Williams, baby. Sweet Pea in the house tonight. He rode to the rescue on the road trip. Now he joins Soccer's Overtime once again. He'll talk through the big weekend and an even bigger trip ahead to Mexico. Could he be the starter on Friday night at Quarter Sport Arena? Talk to him about it. And, of course, Boris Pardo's injury. In MASL news, there's battles on all levels of the bracket now. It's defined into 3 clear tiers. There's fights at the top, the middle, and at the bottom. We'll break it all down. All the latest risers and fallers in MASL news. And then in Soccer's news, it's just going to be dead ahead to the Soccers and the Savage. Is it going to be a rent-a-team again? Can you win doing that? We're going to talk about it. It's all coming up on the show of record, Soccer's Overtime, with Craig and Tony. Welcome to everybody in the chat. Appreciate everybody for being here. It is a pleasure to continue to talk about this club, which, Tony, they welcomed me on MASL Monday this week. I want to say shout out to Alex Pastervansky, Phil Ivanko, great dudes. Always great to chat to them before and after the show, in addition to on the show. So wonderful time. Really appreciate it. But they're saying these things that people on shows say to create thumbnails for algorithms. You know, are the Soccers a lock to make the finals? I'm like, whoa. It's nice to hear. It's great to hear. It's clear that the Soccers trajectory, as you said, arrows pointing up right now.
Yeah, it's flattering to see the Soccers again be spoken of in this way. Usually the discussion is how they got away with it, or how it's this, or how no, like they're getting the credit that's due. The Soccers are getting it done. And I don't think there's a lot of dark arts happening on this side at all, really. But it's really a testament to the play style and what's happening at Front Wave Arena and beyond with the Soccers this year that I kind of like that. I'll take the compliment, I'll say.
Yes. So seeing as we have 3 recaps and a guest, and we do like to kind of put the guest at the half-hour mark of the show if we can, and it's a live show. Thank you for being here, by the way. As you're here, if you could please do us the favor of the thumbs up, hit the like. If you haven't subscribed to what Tony and Chiva and Abe are doing all the time at San Diego Football, I don't know. You're a soccer fan. You're here. So if you haven't hit subscribe on their content yet, it's a you thing, to be honest, at this point, because they're doing all the work that the networks don't do, that the corporations don't do, to give you everything from STFC to San Diego Wave. And look, here, we're doing a soccer show. Who else is doing a soccer show? Nobody's doing a soccer show. We're doing a soccer show. So San Diego Football. Please like, subscribe, rate, review, bingle bangle, and dingle the dongle, and we should be good. Okay. Because we've got so much to get to, we've decided to take the game that's furthest in the rearview mirror Wednesday and put it after the interview. So we'll go a little bit out of order. We'll go through games 2 and 3 of the week that was, and then we'll come back to game number 1, the game that's 6 days in the rearview mirror. A much brighter day that was Wednesday compared to Thursday last week. But I digress. Let's get to our first match review. Soccer's on the road. Show Me State, St. Louis, a place that this year, the only time that they've clawed points out of Family Arena, and they do it again. They do it in a much more convincing style. Tony, Tavoy Morgan, who is being praised by the broadcast, really shows off the left foot this week, including right here doing the reverse spin for goal number 1.
Yeah, and it seems like it's this evolution of Tavoy once again, where he's really resorting to different aspects of his game. We saw it last year when he became a little bit more of a assist player and hold up in a way, as he's trying to celebrate here and trying to get there. But he does. Tavoy is kind of getting scouted, but now where he typically makes the move that everybody's expecting, he'll go over to his weak foot and just get it done. And he's very good at harnessing that this year. So kudos to Tavoy for working on that as well.
Yeah, the goal that we'll play in our third recap of game number 1 was an even more spectacular example of him using off-foot jumping and doing so. So 1-0 Sockers. I'm just guessing we've got rain happening in South Bay right now. As we're getting, as we've got more buffers than buffering happening on the replay. But St. Louis is going to actually get the equalizer and eventually take a lead. This is where they tie it up. William S.K., or as they call him, Chili Willie, cutting to the potent right foot, not closed out. Raymond tried to, couldn't close him out, and gets that ball actually inside Xavier and near post. Certainly the side he was guarding, obviously wrong-footed on that particular play for 1-1.
Yeah, and that's again an aspect that the Sockers are kind of privy to. If they're putting all those numbers up front, they are subject to that counterattack, and give a great play credit right there. There's nothing for Xavier to really be able to dig that out.
Yeah, I mean, hard hit, low, hard, right inside the post. Very, very well placed by the all-star William S.K., who did not get traded out of St. Louis, and it mattered. Again, St. Louis pressuring. Eventually,
they'll get there, 100%.
Yeah, but guess great what? Save, Xavier Snaer-Williams, strong at the top of his crease. However, late magic for St. Louis all night on Friday night at the Family Arena, and this truly a special goal. Alex Chicunte, a header out of the corner that he not only got precision and pace on, Tony, but he was able to curve the ball. And you almost never see that in terms of a header, and especially in indoors, seeing a ball plucked out of the air and not just redirected to his right, but actually with the curve that it doesn't miss the net. People first looked at it and thought SK tipped it in on back post, and he did not. That was actually a ball that went in pardon me, Axel, not Alex. I should have this written down. Axel Chicunte. The curvature in. Beautiful.
Yeah, no, the difficulty in that technique is incredible. And to really go for in that angle is spectacular. And again, you mentioned the indoor game where headers aren't even necessarily the first go-to. That's something that, is even in the outdoor game, that neck turn is so difficult to do, and to create power, it's fantastic.
Utilizing the special slow-mo replay that we call the South Bay slow-mo. See again, Xavier put under some pressure. St. Louis, playing better since trading Taiyu. Hilarious in a way. Milwaukee playing better when Taiyu's in the lineup, so everyone's happy. 2-1, and here's where trouble strikes for St. Louis as Briggs takes out Tavoy Morgan. And I think certainly blue card worthy, Tony, and we'll certainly see it slowed down. When you really see the contact, I think this would have been I don't know, you tell me, would this have been red worthy outdoors?
I think so. You're taking that clear chance away, and it's really just a down. It's a dangerous play. At the end of the day, you have to look at after the safety of the players, and the intent was to foul. The intent was exactly for what happened to have happened, and then you take the risk and the chance of soccer's not taking advantage of that. But it's I think the punishment would have fit the crime on outdoor with a red. But here you see that Toma just.
I mean, he went hard into the ankle. Thankfully, Morgan not injured. He was ginger getting off the floor, but one last time here to see the recklessness of the challenge. And that's what on the review that they did of this play is what they determined is it was a very reckless challenge. And as a result, Sockers get a power play. Sockers do not score on the first minute and a half of the power play. But as we know, you get all 2 minutes. And in the end, they would find it. Joey Zanaboni called it the announcer's curse or announcer's jinx on this one because he was saying how well St. Louis did. And don't worry, after Briggs drinks that water, we'll get there eventually.
Here it is. I think we'll go to the great Ed Trujillo's YouTube here.
Yeah, that one was killing me.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. Molasses isn't even that slow.
It's okay. I was going to turn it into a bit. But here we go. Hey, look at this. Ball moving back. What a beautiful, beautiful distribution by Gabby Costa to just fit it to the left foot and the inside of the left leg there of Drew Ruggles. Gorgeous and part of a big weekend for Drew Ruggles.
Absolutely. He's been turning up on offense as well. Just
breakaway.
Mm-hmm.
Riley Uri, newly acquired from Harrisburg, has the breakaway. Xavier makes a huge save. Here, a bing bong that doesn't go in. Thank goodness. Just missed, but another athletic try by Xavier. 2-2 game, third quarter. Sockers get the turnover. Sockers have outmanned rush coming in. And here's Paulo Nascimento doing what he can to block the ball, but clearly out of the play. Now, behind the play, this poor kid kind of gets turned into the wall by Serta. As we see right here on replay. Yeah, there you go. Into the wall. Cool. Play on. Meanwhile, let's check out the handball from Paulo. That's what we're really here to take a look at. And out of the box. Clearly out of the box. Paulo says, no, I can't believe I did that. Shootout, Craig Childs, backup keeper. What do you know? Craig Childs.
Yeah.
Locking it in. I got to go do the math. He's either on 498 or 499 for career Sockers goals. He's probably going to set it on the road. Now, right to the middle, Tavoy. Right to the middle, Tavoy. Love the strut for his brace and 4-2.
He's feeling it. All right. Like he's back to having fun. I feel like I'm not saying he didn't have a great time last year, but it just looks like the smile is back for Tavoy this season. And really, man, like what a great joy to see. And taking these point blank opportunities, really taking advantage of the space. And you know what? He should be making that 10 out of 10 times. And he knows that. And that's why he's the big man with the big strut.
Heading toward, has a chance at Golden Boot if he has a very strong finish to the year, up to 26 goals when the weekend was all said and done. Now, here's a wild indoor goal, but also, how about the finish by Sebastian Mendez, Tony? How about the skill to be able to get your leg over that ball? Almost, like the golf club, getting the head of the club through the ball at that elevation to be able to not sky it and to punch it into the back of the net. This is skill out of the air.
Yeah, it's really leaning exactly at the right angle, and having the power and putting the foot exactly in the correct angle as well to have that ball leveled and have it lace through. Everybody knows that's a fantastic pickoff from midair. No, un golazo.
St. Louis claws one back late. This one, JT, Justin Thomas, the late set piece. Just if you can't control the rebound and it goes right to the player, what are you going to do? But 5-3, Sockers with a chance to put it away. Leo drives the middle. Leo gets dropped for a free kick. No blue card properly adjudicated. Leo thinks not. Gabby thinks not. Referees do a good job. But you better not give the captain. You better not give him that. Craig Childs is going to score that at least 7 out of 10 times. The replay down low here, Tony, shows you how wickedly powerful this shot is, whistling by human bodies.
Oof. Yeah, no, in this is the moment
Right
you
here.
don't
Look at this
want
right
to
here.
be. Oh, tearing the fan of the
Might
back.
have dislocated his shoulder if it hit SK. That thing was struck so hard. Unreal.
Yeah,
He's got the mustache.
This is when in the streets, you don't want to be part of the wall, and then you get put there, and then you're like, "Hey, guy, just put it in. You're gonna put it in anyways. Don't hurt me. Don't give me a bruise." And that's exactly what happened there. Just lacing it through the power that Craig Childs has.
Yeah, beautiful, solid, workmanlike, professional, veteran 6-3 win for the Sockers on the road. Defense plays well. Team defense plays well. Xavier plays well. Tavoy gets 2. Childs gets 2. Your forwards are scoring. Your midfielders are distributing. Your defenders are making plays. Drew gets a goal, playing on, a defender playing offensively. Really kind of everybody contributes to a soccer 6-3 victory. But it was on to the showcase game in the Show Me State. The Sockers and the Kansas City Comets. Sockers not just beaten, but trucked the last 2 times. They were in KC. Bad starts, worse finishes in each of the games. So the first quarter is going to be important, Tony. And in the first quarter, the Sockers came out, and boy, did they mean business. Even as Ejimadu is making saves, it's the Sockers putting the pressure on. 4.5 minutes in, it's Leo driving the middle and finding his man. Childs on the back post. Good idea. 1-0.
Yeah, the Sockers are really rising up to the occasions when asked. Early in the season, if the questions were, well, can they beat Chihuahua, period? They beat them in Front Wave Arena. They came out guns a-blazing with a fantastic pressure and offense, and they do the same thing here. They set the tempo, they set the tone early and say, here, this is what we have to offer. This is 2 stellar elite teams in the league. Let's see what our highest gear potentially can be right now. And right there, you love seeing Leo and Childs connect, the veterans, to set the tone.
1-0, and the Sockers still pressuring for more. Charlie in the zone. Voila, tippity toppity scora. Morgan's got his. Had to bring it from the right to the left. It's almost like DeVoy's got a bet on scoring on the left as he once again shows his ambidextrous nature. He's ambidextrous with feet. Foot ambidextrity. He's really good with both the right and the left.
And all that is too is a little flick of the ankle to bring it and pass it to yourself.
2-0. Sockers rolling. Incredible block off the back post there. Christian Quintana showing his value to the club. Vandegrift down low, point blank save, rebound cleared. Good job, Ruggles. Team defense once again, San Diego. Reggett, great save. One hand extended diving. Here's Snaer-Williams coming up on the show after this highlight reel is done. Now, the great, Pardo. I'm sorry, I said Xavier earlier. Here's the one. Pardo, was it on the dive previously and it was exacerbated here?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Like, it just seems like a not to say run of the mill play, but it's just he's done that so many times and he's just landed
Yeah.
it wrong. And it's just, that's how it's something of for him to walk out of a game. We know him well. Like for him to do this, it had to have been, not
Keep
just
in mind, Boris's family lives in Kansas City. His kids live in Kansas City. He makes his off-season home in Kansas City. He coaches in Kansas City in the off-season. So, this is a really and here's Xavier into the game. And I apologize. We're doing this just rolling, watching video, and I was thinking about Xavier coming up. It was a great save by Pardo, followed by the injury, and then here comes Xavier into the game. And unfortunately, Rusty makes a bad pass, has to pull the man down. It's a penalty kick, shootout coming, and he's the man who took the penalty, and the Sockers don't have another keeper. So Drew Ruggles comes into the game, puts on the pink jersey. Now he does the I'm looking at you, Rion Marquez, gives him a big laugh. Rion's smiling. Everyone's laughing. Everyone's having a good time. Everyone's enjoying their lives. What are you going to do, Drew? You're going to get big? He says, hey, look at me. I'm going to go right over here. I'm going to shoot right through you. Here comes Drew. No, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Do that. Rion says, rock the baby to sleep. Love you, mama, in the stands. 2-1, Kansas City's on the board, trying to get the big crowd at Cable Dahmer Arena fired up. I appreciate Drew right here. He does crazy legs, and then, no, I'm not gonna hurt the moneymaker. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You shot that right at my face.
Business decision. It's position player playing pitcher, and you're like, can he do it? Is this a chance? And you know what? He tried his best.
But look at this. As they're announcing the goal, Philip Ejimadu finds himself on safari, can't pick up the ball. He's trying to dribble it back into the net. And Tavoy Morgan just comes up behind him, and this is a pickpocket play. Sockers, first of all, play it forward off of the restart, and then pickpocket, goodbye. Tavoy smashes it in, and just like that, the shootout goal is erased. It's gone. Never happened. 3-1, San Diego. Key point to me of the entire match.
Yeah, that response is really coming back and showcasing again those fangs, showing the fangs that, you know what? Okay, we're going to be on the ropes a little bit. We have a situation maybe in goal, but you know what? We trust the team in offense, and also knowing that Ejimado's a great shot stopper, but not necessarily the best with his feet.
Drew Ruggles. Oh, now I get to be a goalkeeper, right? You said I'm a goalkeeper. Hang on. Wait, no, look, I'm a dead body sack. Don't worry about me. I'm good. Oh, great save, Drew, with your hand. Watch it right here. You'll see it yourself. Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool. Good save. Everyone has a good laugh. Drew has a good laugh. But now, penalty kick. Are you kidding me? Double save, Xavier Snaer-Williams. Watching this, I'm like, okay, we got this game now. But hang on, there's a power play, another great save. But the kid's activated now. It's like an NBA Jam when I was a kid. He's on fire. Now there's no chance. There's no chance.
It's such a confidence booster, builder. Just the confidence is oozing. And after a double save like that, it's making up for the earlier play, but just as well as giving you that push to say, you know what? I deserve to be here. And that's why I am here as the backup for the San Diego Sockers, because I get trusted for this moment.
And then as Eric Bergerud does an MASL Monday read and the camera is elsewhere and they still never show a replay of it, a mystery goal is scored that the announcer said was Ruggles, but the score sheet says is Charlie from Ruggles, and the world may never know. I asked Drew to come on the show tonight. He'll try and come on next week, but that's one of the things I'd like to know is what happened on that play, because none of us ever saw it. 4-1.
I was gonna say maybe X saw what happened there, but yeah.
Maybe X did too. Maybe we can find out. Here's some pinball from Kansas City. Down 4-1, showing you that Sockers well-placed team defense. Corner kick. Watch it. Here's Drew's moment. Wham. So well-placed that there's a ball behind the net, and he hits the ball with his ball, and that ball shoots up, and it makes everybody think that he's shot it over the net if you're watching on TV. But Drew knows, and he goes into some weird surfing celebration with Tavoy. Here it is. Powell and hit the ball. Come on, style points on this. 1 in a million. Hit the ball perfect on the top of the net. Golazo.
Yeah, that's one of those places that you just dream to place the ball. If it's a penalty, you want side netting. If it's straight on, you want top roof, because that's as perfectly as placed as it gets. And that was a fun watch too.
Souza gets one back for Kansas City. Big crowd, big expectations. And KC, we'll talk about it more in MASL News, Tony, but a team that's got the arrow pointed in the opposite direction right now. Their form is not good late in the season, and it's going to push them down the bracket, but probably no lower than where they are at third place. More on that certainly later. Nonetheless, nice goal there. Is this going to be the start? Remember, last 2 times in Kansas City, Soccer's got nuked in the fourth quarter. This time, rock solid. And here, first goal as a Soccer, Christian Quintana. And on the replay, this is really, really well struck and placed, Tony. Serta gets it back to him under pressure, and Quintana one-times this from over half field into the net with curve.
Yeah, no, and it's the difficulty of this moment, right? There's been so many times where the Sockers have faced a 6 attacker similar situation, and not only to give that a clearance, but to have the chance and wherewithal to locate exactly where you are and to just, hey, let's punt it up there, and he punted it with style. So that's a goal for me. Beautifully, he was intended to do that.
Oh, Craig Childs. This is, I don't even know what he's saying. I'd love to know, but this is a hilarious. Puts his hands on his hips. I would like to see the bellman right away. Show me the manager.
Start chest bumping. No, he was going.
Look at that. Yeah, I've got some very serious questions about today's buffet, sir. And nobody was supposed to turn down my bet. 7-3 with 122 remaining on this late goal by Reggett. Julie V would probably like to have a word with him. Right at the end, there it is. Soccer's 7-3. 7-3. Incredible. The stern dat. Exactly. Oh, man. He's complaining to the manager.
Yeah, no, he was complaining. He was stoic and statuesque. Like, oh, really? You tried to get me down? Because right in the play before, there was some words exchanged, and there was a strong challenge. And it's like, oh, you tried to cover me. No, let me remind you who I am. This is Craig Childs you're speaking to. That was a great moment there.
Well, let's welcome into the show a man who was there and can fill us in on a lot of stuff along the way. He started on Friday and picked up the W in St. Louis. He had to come off the bench shotgun style after an unfortunate injury to the veteran Boris Pardo, and he picked up a win and stopped a penalty kick along the way. Xavier Snaer-Williams makes his return. Guys? What's happening next?
Good, man. It's raining, so I apologize for the hoodie, but I was like, it's cold. It's so cold.
It's cold. It's raining here. It's raining there. It's raining everywhere.
I know. Oh, I love the beanie. That's my favorite. Like, it's one of my favorite things I've gotten from the Sockers. The Sockers beanie. It's actually so warm.
I know. It is. It's got the San Diego on top.
Yeah, to get me
very nice. I love it. Functional. Use it all the time. Except the summer.
100%.
Use it all winter.
Oh, exactly. True. Only fall.
All right, spring. Let's get into it. What a week, first off, right? 9 points, 3 games, the best you could possibly do. You do it in 5 days. You have to travel for 2 of the different games. How impressed are you with the week the Sockers put together?
Man, I love my boys. They just be killing it. They be killing it. Man, we got the 9 points. We played back to back to back. Honestly, I think the hardest thing for us especially was it was nice between the St. Louis and KC game because we were able to drive midday. We didn't have to get up super early. We could actually, recuperate and recover. the hardest part was right after that Wednesday game, we had to be at the office at 4 a.m. At 4 a.m., get to the airport and fly out super duper early at like a 6:30 a.m. flight. So, having them perform Wednesday, to perform on Friday, then to perform on Sunday, man, I can't complain. I just can smile. That's it.
I love that. X, I mean, you came in and you smiled all the way through Kansas City as well. You stepped in for Boris. Just take me through that game and just that moment of like, hey, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm going to come in. And what was that game like for you in Kansas City?
Man, I can't lie. I keep it very blunt. At warm-ups, I was talking to the guys. They're like, man, you so checked out. I was like, yeah, played Friday. I'm like, KC's Boris's game always. He's from KC, kids there, everything like that. So it's like, yeah, that's the game where I'm like, all right, if he ever needs me, cool. But I'm like, I'm rooting him on. I'm that, what is it, 7th man or 6th man on the bench, rooting my man on. And so the minute he kind of grabbed his leg, I was like, nah, it's Boris, And then he looked and he did this. I was like, okay, it's actually serious. So instantly, thankfully with all the guys and, all the, support, Boris, Phil, Cheeky, Craig, everybody on the team, they have faith in me. They're like, all right, X, it's your time. And I was like, all right. And so it was a quick warm up. And then, I was thrown into the fire. And thankfully with the push of everybody and, God is good. We came up with the dub and, I was able to do my job. And shoot, I know Serta took, shots to the head or to the chest. Bond, everybody was doing their job to help me out, and give me confidence too. So it takes a team to win and a team to move forward. So I'm very thankful for my teammates. I don't take no credit. It's all to them, man.
Well, it's a great way to approach it, X. And obviously, when you came into the game, the very first thing you did was give up a blue card and indoctrinate Drew Ruggles into the goalkeeping fraternity of the San Diego Sockers. You got him seconds in net, which is, I think it's cool to make him a two-way player like that. It was wise on your part. Then later it's the flippity floppity as Drew, forgetting that he didn't have the pink jersey on anymore, decided to make a great save right in the middle of the net. Lovely hand save, diving down to stop the ball. Now it's on you to block a penalty kick. So take me through the thought process as you face Rion and you face that PK.
Yeah, no. So before I start that, it's kind of funny because me and Ruggles had the same reaction when we got the blue. When I took down Rion, I was like, what do you mean? I didn't touch him. He was just in my way, right? And Ruggles had the same one of what are you talking about? I went down. I don't what happened. So I thought that was a cool moment of both of us got the blue and both of us went in for each other. So I thought that was a really cool moment. But leading to Marquez's PK, actually, I was kind of between which way to go, and I had a little help of this idea of hey, actually try this way, and I'm like, all right. I was like, you know what? Let me just try this way, and I ended up going that way with full confidence. So I did more of a futsal save because I was like, look, if he goes the other way, it's a goal. But if I go that way, at least I can cover 80% of that side, right? And so when he hit it, I kind of was like, oh. He hit it at me. He hit it that way. And then so I hit it, and then the ball bounced. And I was like, oh, no, he's going to head it. So I literally just popped up. I'm like, please. And I popped it up. And then Serta came out of nowhere because that third one, I honestly don't know if I could have gotten. Because at that point, he was about to just crank it. And I was like, I was going to do one of those, face. That's something. Please hit me. And then Serta, I was like, let's go. And he cleared it out. And so, yeah, all of us were, that was one of those monumental moments where yeah, we weren't going to lose that game. After that, all of us, we were just getting our buy-in. And also, we took such a high momentum of the game. There was just defense. And then offense did their job. So it was great. They literally had to beat us by that extra pass. They weren't going to just break through.
Yeah. I love that. And that's you on a surprise. Hey, you're going to jump into this game. You had a little bit more heads up with the St. Louis game. Can you take me through that game and just preparing for that game and how you went through again against the ambush?
Yeah, of course, man. It's funny because when I know I'm going to start, it's almost more pressure in a way because I'm nervous. I think of everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, how are they gonna shoot? I gotta pass like with my feet, how am I throw? Like I overthink everything, and I'm one of the worst overthinkers on the team. And it's like, even though I know it's year 4, I still have like those rookie moments in a sense of like I don't know how to kind of get my not mentality, but like thoughts in a line in a way. So it's like, or nerves in a line when I start. Now, if I'm thrown into a game, then it's like, cool, we're just gonna go and hey, what happens, happens. But so the St. Louis one, I was like, okay, feet first, just focus on everything and just play. And honestly, the first goal, I was like, it was the second time Willie or Chili Willie or SK scored near post on me. So I was like, okay, X, you can't do it twice. Okay, you can't do it twice. There can't be no 3 time. You did twice. Okay. So after that, I was like, look, let's go. Let's go. And so we just started playing, passing, moving, everything like that. And then the saves came in, and my guys, they always say like, X, keep your head up. Cause I do those, I get my head, it's very all over my face. Keep you honest. And so like, especially it's funny, like Mitch, he's always like, Mitchell Cardenas, he's always like, X, like you're fine, man. Like keep your head up. He's like my like a big brother moment. So it's kind of cool. Like all the guys just telling me, X, it's fine. Just breathe. It's called in through your nose, out through your mouth, man. You can breathe. So it was really exactly. So, after I don't remember which, the Alameda save, the one where like he cranked it and it hit me. I think it was like stomach or like inner thigh and it went. I was like, okay. Usually it's like the first big save, or not big save, but like at least like a save that like kind of gets me like in the rhythm. So after that, then I was like, okay, we're going to play. And then I finally calmed down and it was good.
Xavier, for this club, I think when I look at what has kind of just seemingly turned the results in a very satisfying way towards San Diego in the second half of the season, it's been the team's defensive prowess. It's been everybody's buy-in, forwards coming back, midfielders, defenders, of course, doing their job. How impressed have you been just overall with this club's dedication to playing defense?
Oh, hugely, hugely, hugely. I think this is one of the best years since I've been here that we've really committed, especially in the second half to defense. I know in past years we've committed to defense maybe in the first part, and we kind of, faltered a little bit towards the end, and then we like picked it back up for playoffs. But this is the first time, like, right at half, we've really been like, okay, look, defense, 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 and we've been sticking to it, right? And like you said, we've done better with changes, because that's something that has killed us in past years. So like doing better on either getting the forwards off or the offensive line off and actually getting the defensive line in, or B, even the offensive line committing to defense. So honestly, it's a plus on both ends. So I'm very, very, very happy, especially as a goalkeeper. I'm like, this is great. Keep it going, boys.
I love seeing some offensive players do some defense, especially Gabi Costa and everything he's been doing as well. But on the other side of the spectrum, size-wise, you get an addition of Christian Quintana. What has it been like adding him to this defensive lineup that's already strong? Now you have a strong, just trunk of a man in defense as well with Quintana.
Dude, he is massive. Like when we first saw him, it was like, oh, what's up? Because his nickname's Killy. I was like, oh, what's up, Killy? Which also makes sense why his nickname is that, because that man be putting his body on the line. He had a great slide tackles, I think in the St. Louis and the KC game. I know for sure the KC game. And he's not afraid to like put people on the ground, fight for the ball, anything. So him adding to our defensive already like stat sheet is awesome. So he was definitely an awesome add-on, and he's killing it. He's really, really killing it.
Well, an amazing week in the rearview mirror. You guys have set yourselves up quite well. Now you actually have a God-honest look at first place in the MASL in the top of the table. But to get it, you got to pull a result out of Chihuahua. And if you don't, the odds are in the finals, you're going to have to pull a result out of Chihuahua. It's that simple, X. This is a pretty big game on Friday. Now, I'm sure that Paul's doing whatever he can to get Boris, back up and running. And the biggest key, as I've seen in the chat, is that he's healthy and ready to go in the playoffs. I'm sure you would agree. Tell me about your thought process. You were in the net last time down there at Corner Sport Arena. I'm sure a lot to learn. It was also a very different roster in front of you than you have on most days, and that might be partially the case again on Friday. So, like, what's the mindset? What's the prep going into a place that the Sockers used to win a good amount, but the last couple of years have been pretty rough?
Yeah, no, definitely the mindset this time is watch the game again. Last time, and I know myself, I was too sporadic. I was trying to do too much because the field's so small. Like on a big field, I can get the angles more, or even like I think I'm more on the aggressive side of keepers of just coming out and attacking a ball. But on that field, I could be at the top of my box, and the minute they cross half, or not even half, the yellow line, it could be an easy shot, right? So that field has complete different dynamics, complete different positioning. So I think the biggest thing is going back, rewatching our game when I played, watching especially that first half and seeing, okay, where can I stay home more? Where can I maybe step up a little bit? And then also with the guys of like, we gave up 5, either top of the box or 2 lines, right? So the biggest thing on that field is you can't give up free kicks, right? So with that is we just got to minimize that one. And then, yeah, just looking at myself, how can I help the guys too? Like I faulted in that. I need to step up better in that sense of like better positioning and just trying to step in those gaps more because it's truly just a shooting gallery at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it is, man. The ball seems like it's so bouncy down there. Feels like it's bouncing out.
So hard.
It's bouncing off the corners and it's bouncing off of the turf. Exactly.
So hard down there. Yeah, like the ground first off is just concrete. Like it has the carpet, which is like thin, and then concrete. So with that, it was kind of like Pachanga in the beginning of the season, right? Before we got this new turf, where the ball, the minute it hits, it doesn't really die, right? It's like ricochets in a sense. So then with their boards too, comes right off the boards, usually ends right around the middle. And so it allows for them to pass a very smooth pass because it's more of like on like a futsal-ish ground, even though it's carpet, just due to it being so smooth. And then 2, with the little bounce, dude, half volleys on that field are golden, right? Because you just crank it and that goal is so big when you're like 2 feet away. So it's definitely, it puts other teams at a disadvantage and the home team at an outrageous advantage.
Yeah, it's almost as if there should be uniformity in field size like there is in outdoor soccer for the most part. For the most part, NYCFC would like to chat. As there is in indoor soccer. It's wild. But anyways, we can do that another time. Xavier, you're the man.
Hurts my heart.
Great job last weekend. We wish Boris all the best in getting healthy as well. But please pass along our best regards to the boys on a sick week, 9 points, and we're all going to be watching, all going to be tuned in for the game on the concrete gray turf down there at Corner Sport. Best of luck to you, my friend.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great one. Appreciate you guys always.
And you as well. The great Xavier Snaer-Williams. Tony, always a bright light in a ever darkening landscape. The bright light of Xavier Snaer-Williams shall shine like a lighthouse upon the shores of our rocky beach.
No, I love getting into the mind of just goalkeepers in general, but I understand X in that moment of his prep, right? Like in the goalkeeping position, like, yeah, you're a backup. So anything that you do positive and good is a net positive. Anything outside of that wasn't expected of you. And you really play with intuition. So you're just kind of free out there. But when you're prepping, you have to be rigid and you have to be structured. There's a way to go about things and you're kind of curtailing your creativity in net. But I could talk to that guy for hours. Let's do it, X.
Okay. Well, guess what? We did 2 reviews. We did a beautiful interview. We love Xavier Snaer-Williams. Now, let's go back in time. Press the button. Send us back in time. Time to go back to the game you and I called Wednesday night. The Sockers, the Empire Strikers. The Empire Strikers. Onua Obasi. Goalkeeper up. Wandering goalkeeper strategy. How would it play off on a rainy Wednesday night in front of a somewhat reduced crowd? Well, Gabi Costa got things going with a great steal and goal. Part of a huge night, big week for Gabi Costa overall. This kid rounding into form is huge for San Diego's championship chances.
Yeah, he's been everywhere on the field except the scoreline in a lot of different instances where you would normally find Gabi Costa being there. And he gets it done with the shot outside the box, and he typically gives a pass there, but he has a confidence for himself. Say, you know what? Let's go ahead and lace it through. And what a great shot that was.
1-0 San Diego, but this would be a seesaw game. Here's a bing bong that doesn't go the right way for San Diego. Orozco stays strong as it drops softly off his back. And then in what was admittedly kind of a rough home debut for Christian Quintana, lost the ball right there, comes across. Boy, Justin Stinson can hit the ball. If he puts his laces through it, kid's got a wicked shot.
Yeah, and just thinking about what X said, right, in corner sport, 2 feet away, that goal is huge. But if you're Justin Stinson, it doesn't matter if you're 10 feet away. It's the same amount of power you've put it through. And, man, hate to be on the end of that one.
Yeah, right on to the hard side netting for 1-1. Second quarter. Here's Quintana getting his laces through. Bar down and out. Reviewed, not a goal. Corner kick here for San Diego. Flick it across. Oh, baby. It's Leo trying for the kind of like half chilena, like jumping up in the air to scissor kick it. He scissor kicks it to Tavoy for the goal.
Just technique. It's just beautiful. Like that's a moment of like just freedom. Like this game is meant to be played in 3 dimensions, and Leo's the only one that realizes it then. And just a beautiful moment there from the Brazilian.
All the time you might be thinking, are the Sockers going to pull away from the Empire Strikers? And the answer was always no. Boris Prado with a great save right there. Boris played quite well on this night, but nothing to be done here as a new player on this team, Tony. Leo Espinoza came in with 2 goals and an assist on the night. And with the other rookie, Alami, I'll double check the name, out, who had made such an impressive debut for Empire, Leo Espinoza turned out to be a critical player.
Yeah, and that's talking about the system, right? Where anybody can step into Obasi's system. And as long as you have some sort of use in it, you can be successful within. And here, once again, Sockers are coming back and responding as well.
Yes, Drew Ruggles, late magic minute goal. Again, huge week for Drew Ruggles. Could have been in the Defender of the Week discussion, I think, for sure. And just cutting it near post. But how about that? Two defenders that he takes out with that lovely sideways touch and then just sends it back with the strong side for 3-2 at the half. Third quarter underway, and now, one quick touch. Man down. Card out. Blue card on San Diego. Well adjudicated, proper call. And an instant goal. As the Brazilian Diaz is waiting on the near post to collect the rebound of the shot. And it is simple corner kick. There it is. Here's the shot. There's the rebound. There's the goal. Okay. Power play. Done.
Yeah. Done and dusted. I mean, not the ideal to give and concede so quickly, but at the end of the day, if you're going to concede, might as well just get it out of the way and que golazo, que golazo.
Sockers turn on the power play. Gabi Costa gets his brace. Both of his shots kind of hitting about the same part of the goal from different sides. Just pure power and precision combined. This is puro football.
I love it. The goalkeeper didn't even try to make it look nice by diving. Like, he just no idea where that ball went.
Empire not going to get out of it. This game could not get over the 1-goal mark. Pardo had a nice save. Now Stinson down low. Here's the cross. Hansen right in the middle with the ability with two guys around him to get the second touch for the shot. Pretty impressive for the young forward here, Tony, for 4-4.
Yeah, look just how many blue jerseys are around him as well. The Empire is able to really come at you from different ways and different angles and be successful in it. So that's why you always have to be on your toes. And it takes a very intentional style defending to try to quell it. And even then, it's hard. Oof.
Walla Scora. What a Walla Scora. Gutierrez is doing this blind. I think it's important to note that. Watch what Christian can see and can't see. He's got men all around him. He's putting it blind high off the glass. Tavoy Morgan leaping left-footed half volley. This is a right-footed player, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible week. One of the best weeks Tavoy's had as a soccer this week.
Talk about chemistry, telepathy, right? Just, hey, somebody has to be here. Somebody should be here. According to the book, there is somebody here, and that's Tavoy. And then everything just keeps on rolling from there as well, just using that chemistry on offense.
Well, Obasi went to a sixth attacker, and all of a sudden something happened, and Leo gets a steal. And this is what you're hoping is going to happen like a half dozen times when you're playing with the goalkeeper out of the net, is that there's going to just be a simple steal, a simple shot, and a goal. It doesn't happen all the time. 6-4. Big save made by Pardo. Played really well in this game. That was preventing a late goal in the third. Fourth quarter now. Empire had such a hard possession advantage during the game. Another big save, but second kick is good. Brace for Espinoza. And 6-5. And you can't shake the strikers.
Yeah, doing such a great job of staying on top and fighting back, really being patient, because they weren't trying to come back and be a fiery offense. They were sticking to their style. And again, credit to Empire for really seeing success in that throughout the season. And it gave the Sockers a run for their money.
With the sixth attacker in, doesn't work. Mendez got it started. Mendez got the great assist off the wall to Cerda. Cerda gets his first goal of the season. Sockers take a 2-goal lead at 7-5. This winds up being, Tony, the winning goal.
Yeah, and that's as good as you can ask for against a team that really came to play. Like, it could have been very easy for Empire to just roll over and not come to compete, but they came to compete and they came to win. Like, they came with intentions of winning this game.
Own goal late. Unfortunate super power play situation right here for Empire, but it went off of Gutierrez and in, which is, I'm not saying like it's just been an unfortunate thing of late. He had one off of his chest the other weekend. Now this one goes in off of him. So it's part of being a defender who's selling out all the time. And look at 7-6. This is a great free kick opportunity with Marco Fabian out there. But Cesar Cerda guesses that Fabian will be the intended target of the pass. Huge steal right there, Tony, potentially to save the match.
Yeah, and it's really being concentrated and focused until the dying moments of the game. And that's really what you want to see from a team that is on the track to be first place and really wanting to be the epitome of MASL this season. And that's what you love to see, that buy-in from everybody from the front to the back. You see what X said, right? You love seeing the defenders, the attacking players become the first defenders, and you love seeing defenders become the first attackers. Drew is coming on as a offensive player more than anything. Quintana is now racking it up. Cerda is scoring now. Like, everything is going into a positive direction that I think everybody is very happy to see this gear of San Diego soccer action.
Yes. So 3 games, 3 recaps, 3 wins, 3 great defensive performances. 1 game that you're playing against a unique strategy. So it kind of, again, throws things, a little sideways in terms of your analysis. But the Missouri trip is just straight, rock solid, squeeze the life out of you. San Diego Soccer's 2024-25. To me, it's a championship formula, the way they played. And then it leads them to what we'll get to shortly, which is a championship opportunity, a chance to go down to Chihuahua and take the first place reins away from Los Bicampeones.
And again, it's now up to the Sockers. They control their own destiny. Part of it also has to go through the destiny that Corner Sport Arena decides for you on that day. Like, that's still a roll of the dice, but there's a real chance, and I think this is what I like about this iteration of San Diego Sockers. It seems like they're learning. It seems like they're going back and reviewing what is needed to be successful in this place. They might lose at Tacoma away, but they're going to come back stronger. They might lose at Kansas City away, but they're going to come back with a strategy and leave no stone unturned at that point. And can they do that in Corner Sport Arena? I think that would be the biggest statement of the season.
As we kind of turn and transition to MASL News, which is basically just taking a tour of the standings, seeing as the trade deadline is in the rearview mirror. If you would like to look at what the league's writer, Joseph Reyna, thought of the trade deadline with grades, you can go check out his column on the website. But we still have the 3 teams guaranteed in. But now take a look. With a game in hand, San Diego's just 1 point behind Chihuahua, breathing down the Savage's neck. Here's another thing to look at. Look at the top 4 teams in the league. The top 4 teams in the league, Chihuahua, San Diego, Kansas City, Baltimore. Take a look at those home records. You have got 36-1-1. Combine the 4. They're 36-1-1 at home. The only 2 home losses out of the quartet, Kansas City. And of those 4, 2 of them, Tony, are playing on trick fields. Baltimore and Chihuahua, the 2 small field wonders.
And that's not where the playoffs will be played. That's going to be at Front Wave Arena. That's going to be on the new blue turf. That's going to be on the home soil, artificial soil of Ron Newman.
There's soil down there at the bottom.
Yeah, if you dig hard enough. But again, if we're talking about advantage, I think the Sockers have that advantage by knowing exactly what is coming their direction. And yeah, you can go ahead and face Chihuahua at Corner Sport or Baltimore eventually, but that's not what you have to worry about right now. But that's an interesting kind of note to have. This end of the season might feature a full-fledged field, or it might also have a mini pitch.
Well, when we'll do this in a moment, we'll look at the Sockers and Savage more closely, but I'll tell you, most of the other results you can probably write in. So it's going to come down to this game. It's going to come down to Friday's game, Sockers and Savage for the top. Now, Kansas City is now a solid minimum of 4 points out of second place. So San Diego has the wherewithal, even with KC having 1 game in hand, to lose in Chihuahua and still take care of their business against Empire and Tacoma down the stretch and be second place and get the Friday game, get the 7 seed and get the chance then to play whoever wins out of 3-6 on the Sunday semifinal. That's the floor expectation now. If San Diego wins in Chihuahua, they can take care of business against Tacoma and Empire and win the Supporters Shield and have home field advantage throughout the Ron Newman Cup playoffs. But they've got a guaranteed home field advantage in the first 2 rounds. And if they, unless they lose one of those games down the stretch, and I'm sure Empire would love to play spoiler, second place should be well in hand for San Diego.
Yeah, and well deserved in all aspects of it too. But you really can't lose your focus in that in this point of time, right? Let's say you don't play with Boris for a couple of weeks, or you just have X in there. Guess what? He needs to go ahead and be ready to go as he's been and be stellar and be prepared for whatever may come his way. But besides that, you really can't have an area where you can have an excuse. The Sockers, I don't think, have an excuse to really point at this season, and they can really just say, hey, we had a poor performance, and that's why we were knocked out. But outside of that realm, it's within their control to really move forward from here on out. Yeah, you're going to face Empire, who's going to want to really put it to the San Diego Sockers and say, look, no, this system works, and we're going to beat you once. Last year, you played against Tacoma. They beat you at the end, and guess what? They rode that into their offseason obscurity. And you still remember that because then you went back to Tacoma, lost in your opening game off of that same momentum they were carrying from last year. So again, this is to say that it's still the middle of the regular season. We're coming up to the end. There's no time to really take your eyes off the ball and really focus on what you have in front of you. And I mean, it's up to the Sockers, but everybody else is going to want to win and show against the San Diego Sockers once again.
Now, as you tarry down to the middle class of the bracket, you gotta really interpret it because starting with Baltimore's been wobbling, including getting blasted at Harrisburg, losing by like 4 or 5 goals last weekend. But now take a look again at that home road. They are -3 right now. They've played 3 more away than they have at home. So Baltimore has, in my opinion, some expected points coming their way down the stretch to fortify that 33-point total. They also have 4 matches in hand on Empire, 2 on Milwaukee and 1 on Utica. So of all the teams that are in this chase pack, 4 through 7, all within 2 points of each other right now, that's deceptive because Empire spent a lot more firewood already to get to 33 points with only 3 matches remaining, 2 of those against San Diego. Very difficult road for Empire to get much beyond 36 by year's end. And again, unless they spring an upset, which they're right possible to do. They've certainly played the Sockers as close as anybody, at least at Front Wave. And they've gotten better as the year's gone along. So I'm not discounting Empire. I'm not. I'm just saying that they've got a tough schedule for all the good work they've done. They've only got 3 games left. Baltimore's got 7. Milwaukee's got 5. And that Milwaukee 5 should have Frank Tayu in the lineup. One of the weirdest things, and it's perfect for MASL news, Frank puts it up on his own Instagram, but it hasn't been countered by anybody, is that as part of the trade between St. Louis and Milwaukee that sent Tayu to the Wave for Robert Williamson, there was a clause that Tayu could not go back to St. Louis and play the ambush in St. Louis. And then Milwaukee without Tayu went on to get pasted in St. Louis by the ambush last Sunday. Here's the, thank you for pulling it up, Tony. Here's his post on Instagram and Facebook. As part of the trade agreement, I'm not allowed to play against the ambush in St. Louis. I was not aware of this until after I approved the trade. How does this happen?
That is incredible. That is incredible. Just somebody just didn't read the contract or just overlooked it. Very small print.
Also, it's signed Eternally King. And I just love that. I love this character in the universe that we inhabit. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
The king is eternal. The king. Long live the king.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. He's eternal.
Except in St. Louis, king is dead. But long live the king. So this is incredibly weird. But I would like to note the 2 games that Tayu has played with Milwaukee, he scored like 5 and 4 goals, and they won both games in convincing fashion. And if he is playing in Smash, which we've seen throughout multiple MVP campaigns, if he's got Smash mode back on Unlock, Who wants to play the Wave in the first round of the playoffs? Not me.
That's going to be one of those teams that, hey, they have what it takes. Like there's again no built-in excuses. They're a team that plays on a regulation size field. They have offense. They have great defense. They have legends as well. They have a great goalkeeper. This is somebody who you don't want to face on a go-to-go basis.
Now, I see, the kind of the regular stuff that Nick's Tayu, being written in the chat, Tony. But the one thing that the Milwaukee Wave simply do not have this year until the deadline is a target forward. They haven't had a 9 on their team the whole year. They've been trying to score with little midfielders and with kind of a big corn-fed dude that could barely trap the ball up top. And now they got Frank bleeping Tayu. And you know who else they have? Ian Bennett. And you know who those two guys are? The only 2 players in the history of the league to score 500 points in the league in its 11 years. And they've got them both. And the 2 guys clicked immediately when they got on the floor together. So for everyone who wants to poo-poo this, I am not in your camp. I'm in the camp of Milwaukee's dangerous. Milwaukee's got the chance to win it all. Or no, maybe to get to the finals. Milwaukee's got that chance to play double upset in the bracket. And I would not want to face that team, especially the first game. I think that first game is really, really scary. I don't think Milwaukee will fall far enough for them to face the Sockers in the first round. Because then you get to the bottom, and the bottom's kind of interesting too. Now, Utica is in a weird spot. Presumably, they're in the chase pack to get as high as 4th place. But Kelvin Oliveira is out. He's out with an injury, and he's not expected back until the playoffs. So does Utica have enough? Can they make enough? Can they find enough results in the final 6 matches to get to a playoff that maybe Kelvin is back and all of a sudden they're a dangerous team just like Milwaukee? I don't know, because while it looks like it's quite a gap, they got 8 points with 2 matches in hand on 8th place. They've got 10 points with 1 match in hand on 9th place. They should be able to hold on. But if they were to free fall and kind of zero out down the, without Kelvin down the stretch, they could be in big trouble. I kind of feel like they're almost an automatic 7th place, though, the way things are sorting.
Yeah, and then that throws a huge monkey wrench in it, right? The talent of Kelvin Oliveira and just the stellar power that he possesses. I think it's even just in the best interest of the league for Utica to be in playoffs and have Kelvin return in there to really just light it up. And, there have been games with Kelvin that Utica has been destroyed in. So you don't really know what you get with a healthy Kelvin as well, other than a great show. But is it enough to really push him and maintain him in that area? We'll have to see and find out.
In the realm of, what do you want? Don't ask. It's, would you rather in the first round face Kelvin Oliveira potentially, the guy who's averaging more than a point per game more than 2nd place in the league? He's averaging 3.5 points per game. The next highest is 2.5 points per game. Would you want to face him? We saw what happened when the Sockers faced that guy one time. He won the game.
Yeah. Sockers lost.
He won the game. He dominated and won, and then Shane Butler took it away.
Yep.
Crazy. That happened. Would you rather do that or face an activated Tayu with Bennett, with Super Mario, or team system? What if it's not impossible? Empire's only got 9 points left to get. 6 of them would have to come through the Sockers. It's not impossible that Milwaukee and Utica pass Empire and they drop down to 7. And now you're facing the kooky system in game one, and every single time it's kind of been a 1-goal game, and right there for Empire to steal.
Yeah, and again, you mentioned the Soccer's just kind of edging out a lot of these results, right? A lot of these wins have been tough. They haven't been complete domination, except for some of the ones that we've asked. Please dominate them. But outside of that, it was really a very close, very inch perfect performance by the Soccer. We're like, okay, cool. But it only takes one great performance from the opposing team to figure it out against the Soccers to boot them out. And that's what I'm thinking about Empire, right? It only takes one performance for that system to work for it to be enough. And that's the situation where you don't want to find yourself. Good number here. Like, yeah, Kelvin Oliveira still up the top, hasn't played since February 23rd. Like, yeah, no, like the guy's a machine. Like, it's incredible what he's been able to do. Again, half of Brazil watches him, so he's being animated on that sense.
Well, yeah, so those are all three, reasonably dangerous opponents to face in a single elimination, to be sure. Now, the way to avoid that is to win the Supporters Shield. It's to go to Chihuahua and win on Friday night, at which point now you've got it all in your hands down the stretch with only 3 games left, and it's at Empire, home Empire, and Tacoma. 3 games that you want to win. And if you take care of business, you get first place, which means you would get the 8th seed instead. And who's going to be the 8th seed? Well, I still think it's probably Tacoma. But the Stars have found it nigh upon impossible to pick up a road result. They've got a total of 5 points on the road in 9 matches. So, and they have spent 11 of their 12 home matches. So that's a little bit rough for Tacoma to get too much beyond 26, 27. Can they get to 29? It does open the door a little bit for another team that would have to do it on the road, Tony. They've spent 11 home matches as well. The MASL Monday guys were making the St. Louis ambush minus Taiyu case to me. And I don't know. I think it probably comes down to schedule and who they have to beat to get there.
Yeah, and it's like nobody wants 8th place. That 8th place is just cursed. Anybody above 8th and anybody below 8th just don't want to land there at all. And St. Louis has been playing well. And you know what? The stats are there. Like, the play style is clicking, Frank Taiyu or not. Like, yeah, they are looking good. And they are being competitive as well against the Soccers. And really a chance for them to steal one and sneak into that 8th slot. But I don't think that it's sustainable for St. Louis to be able to do that on the road, especially then seeing a playoff run ahead of them. Like, they'll run out of steam more than likely.
Well, I just look at St. Louis's schedule, and their next match this coming weekend is at Baltimore. So I'm going to give that the old L ball. Then they have a road trip, but it's through Texas and Dallas. Should beat both of those teams. Even St. Louis, you would expect them to beat both of those teams. So that could be 2 wins for them to get them up to 27 points. But then and then get this, they host Milwaukee March 28th at Family Arena, which is a no Taiyu game based on what we just saw. So that last home game could be a potential result for them that could get them to 30 points. And then they wrap up at Milwaukee, where I'm sure Frank will score 114 goals. So I could see St. Louis to 30. And that would require Tacoma to get at least 7, but really 8 points in their last 4 matches. So we're starting to talk about you need to win 3 of your last 4 if you're Tacoma. So who do the Stars have for the rest of their schedule? Tacoma, as we know it, they're going to be on the road. They're going to be at Texas. Okay, that should be a win. Their one last home game is March 21st against Kansas City. Scary. Then they go to Kansas City, and then they go to us. I don't know if they've got the 9 points in them.
Yeah, no. It's the hardest road definitely ahead. It's the hardest way to get in. But look, all credit to them if it's possible and they get in there, like kudos. But then you're probably going to get obliterated in the first round. Just kind of know that you're going to go ahead and take a vacation to San Diego for a day and just maybe plan some fun stuff after the playoffs because you're not going to stick around that long.
All right. The last team that I'll at least allow a candle to be lit for is my dear friend Alan Bathrop's Dallas Sidekicks. In that, now listen, Dallas is not a good team, and they shouldn't be in the playoffs by any right. But they have used up all their away matches in which they went into sultry 2-10. And they are 4-5 in Allen, Texas. So if they were to catch a little heater here, right? And we've seen them pop up on the schedule of some of these playoff teams, including St. Louis. Let's just say they won out at home. If they did, 9 points, that's 27. One of those wins would be taking points away from St. Louis because St. Louis is a team that's going there. So not impossible for Dallas to slot in 8th. Deeply unlikely. But if Tacoma, and we're seeing in the chat, beach soccer right now, taking Chris, taking Alessandro Canale, if Nick was healthy, would take Nick. Nick has been playing at kind of half speed. Okay, there you go. Beach soccer guys back after Sunday. Nonetheless, every point matters for Tacoma. And they've got a pretty tough schedule coming up. They just need to beat Texas at Texas. That's the one game they have to win. But I think it's pretty fun. I mean, the big match is the one that's coming up Friday for the top of the bracket. But then 4 through 7 and 8 through 10 are both pretty reasonable races.
And look, you gotta give credit to the MASL, I guess, for this outlook. A lot had to do with some teams falling off the face of the earth for the season, and you need to kind of maneuver around things. But this one table season and one table in 2025 have been fun, and it's an added dynamic and an added layer where every single game and some games up until the last dying moments of the season are important for everybody on the table. And that's what you like to see, a competitive league and a league that really offers that through and through for not just 1, 2, 3 teams, but you still have an open 8th spot. So whoever wants it, go for it, guys.
It's going to be a lot of fun down the stretch. Okay, which takes us to soccer's news, and soccer's news is simple. After a 3-match week, it's a 1-match week. It's the Sockers at Chihuahua Friday night, Corner Sport Arena, for the final matchup between the two clubs. It's 2-1 Sockers, the match series record this season right now, but that's because Sockers won twice at home. They lost 8-5 in their last trip to Chihuahua. A somewhat deceiving final line in that it was 7-2 at halftime. And, it finishes 8-5, but it is, it wasn't like San Diego ever really made a match of it. The closest they got was to 3 goals at any point. So, another rock solid Chihuahua, no problem win. But a game that once again, Tony, saw the Sockers without many of their key players and a lot of replacements in the lineup instead. As we kind of like generally know, there's a number of guys, and key among them, Charlie Gonzalez and Leo de Oliveira, that usually can't make that trip down to Chihuahua or to Mexico at all. Keiko Gontan, another player that couldn't make the trip last time down to Mexico. And on top of all of that, last time the Sockers rested Craig Childs and Boris Pardo. I don't think they'll rest Craig Childs here. Boris, a groin injury. You never know. You hope it's something minor. You hope that you get some really good news. Paul Savage is a master, the athletic trainer for San Diego. He'll do the Mr. Miyagi laying of hands, but sounded to me talking to Xavier like he was prepping to start on Friday.
Yeah. And that's, again, a moment where I really hope that the Sockers are able to go back, go watch some film, go watch something, just study a little bit. Even if that's honing your own skill in the small sided game, that's really on the onus of the San Diego Sockers to take themselves into this game and take any variable out as much as possible. The arena is the arena. You're going to go ahead and go into Chihuahua, and you're going to face a team that on the stat sheet, if you go to the head to head, really, it's not even close, right? There's a goal differential of 30 plus 34 by the San Diego Sockers, but then you're facing the plus 90 goal differential Chihuahua Savage. That's the team that put that number up at Corner Sport Arena. That's the team that nobody wants to face there, that nobody can win literally anymore. That's it. It's done. But can you prove everybody wrong? You've been shutting mouths every single moment that's been asked this season for the Sockers. Can you do it once more in Corner Sport Arena? And man, I don't know. Can you force this chemistry-less team to come in? And I don't say chemistry-less. It's just if you have people who have not been with the team for the entirety of the run this season and you just want to plug and play, that's just not a recipe for success.
Here's the lineup that the Sockers utilized the last time that they were in Chihuahua on Valentine's Day. The regulars who played were Gabby Costa, Tavoy Morgan, Luis Morales, who has been out of town, is what I heard. I think it's Kings League again, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's not futsal because otherwise Mendez would have been out too. But he has been gone. So your guess is as good as mine if he turns up on Friday at Corner Sport Arena. But Morales was a regular in the lineup. Gutierrez, Ruggles, Cerda is suspended for Friday's match because he picked up his 8th card in the Kansas City match. So on card accumulation, Cerda is out, right? And then Cardenas was a regular in that lineup, and X. And then the rest was kind of a rent-to-player lineup. Brandon has been around. He's been playing on Sockers too, but he has not been in the lineup. Ivan Terry Munoz played the second half in goal. He was actually really good in that half. Pollo knows these guys, but he hasn't been here all year. Tortin Luis Perez, he's a guy who, again, trains, around the team, but has not been able to play all year. Andres Mendez would have to show me his ID. I wouldn't be able to pull him out of a police lineup right now. And then, Ismael Rojo is one of the best defenders in the league. It's a ridiculous shame that he's not in the league. And Eric Yon Ponce has been on the opposite side, on the opposite touchline, for 16 years. I remember him playing for Guadalajara teams back in 2009-10 as a young man. So it's going to probably be a lineup like that again. I think Childs subs in probably for Morales in that lineup, unless Luis is back, which would be, nice news for San Diego. But we might see this, hit squad of Rojo and Ponce and Pollo and Perez and Mendez and Munoz, a sextet of players, coming in and trying to forge chemistry, connectedness, and defense for a team that has really been locked in on defense, going to Corner Sport and then having 6 new players in the lineup. Yikes!
Yeah, I don't see how this is setting up for success, and that's again what the preparation that is needed to go in and take down a professionally run, fantastic machine of a team that Chihuahua has been. You see it in the way that they warm up. You see it in the intensity in every single moment, at every single timeout. Like, this is a team that's united, and having them on their home field, it's a plus 500 magic card attached to it. Like, that the attack goes up, the defense, everything goes up. It's not like there's a lot of just fan support that's on them or anything. No, like, this is just a great team. So you can't make any mistakes. And having these holes, these questions poses that chance to say, hey, they're just going to get steamrolled. It's very easy to just discard them like that. But until proven otherwise, I just don't see a way that the San Diego Sockers, with a lineup like this, like they featured last time, can potentially take it and win against the Chihuahua Savage, who, again, have been also not embarrassed, but they've lost to San Diego, and that's on their mind as well. They know that they can't lose at home. They've lost away. Cool, that's fine, but you don't win at Corner Sport Arena, is what Savage is going to say.
Yeah, and they're 11-0. This is their last home match. They can finish an undefeated home season, and if they do, all they have left at the end of the year is a 2-match trip to Harrisburg. And I remember the last time that Chihuahua went to Harrisburg, and we were like, well, maybe they'll drop a result. And they went out and, took care of it. They were able to get enough players up to Pennsylvania to take care of business. So straight up, and I said it, I kind of dropped it in Xavier's ear. There's no pressure, but for this team that has guaranteed home field advantage in the semifinals and the quarterfinals, the way the Sockers have played, they've all but set themselves on the opposite side of the bracket as Chihuahua. Like, it would be very difficult for them to finish fourth. And that's what they would need to do in order to face Chihuahua in a potential semifinal. So they're probably going to miss Chihuahua. Now, you can pray that one of the Tacoma, Dallas, St. Louis triumvirate beats Chihuahua as they're the number 1 seed. Of those, you'd want Toth and Pereira all together for Tacoma as the team with the best chance, but you would favor Chihuahua in that match, and then they'd be taking on the 4-5 winner, and you would favor them against an Empire or, as it stands right now, a team like a Milwaukee, so on and so forth. You would favor them in those matches. You'd favor the Sockers in their matches against maybe a Utica and a Kansas City. And then you'd have game 1 of the 3-game finals at home. And you'd have 2 full games, games 2 and 3, down at Corner Sport Arena. And yeah, you get 2 bites of the apple, but it's a poison apple filled with worms. And the worms have been sitting in the bottom of mezcal bottles for 3 decades in cellars in Chihuahua. It's a very difficult apple to find fruit. And you don't have to do any of that if you win on Friday. If you win on Friday, even in overtime, you take enough points that you could have then 1 game at Corner Sport Arena. And even if you lost it 100-1, you would have 2 full games at Front Wave Arena, where Chihuahua has lost by multiple goals twice. So it's not, the previous 3 meetings in the playoffs where it's come down to a mini game. The first time the Savage took their medicine, and the second 2 times they came in with a specific strategy to win in the mini game, and they won in the mini game both times. Taking that away, I don't want to overstate it, but I feel like Friday's game goes a really long way toward determining who's the champion, as long as chalk plays out.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the most difficult way to the championship possible, even at home for the San Diego Sockers. But this game on Friday, it needs to be taken with the seriousness that I hope that it deserves. And again, it's going to be reflected on the lineup, the way these players play. I hope I don't see a second quarter shoulders down, head down moment from any of the San Diego Sockers. No, you can't have that. This goes way beyond just going and saying, hey, we tried our best here. Like, you have to think of the legs that can be rested. You have to you can think of the long-term ramifications of this. You can also think of, there's a chance that you get Chihuahua a little bit hurt. You also have to take the mental note of, don't get anybody hurt at Chihuahua. Don't do anything that's going to bait you into a red card situation. There's just so many factors to focus in. And this is the moment to focus for the Sockers. This is the moment. You're going to go to playoffs. You're fine. But this is the moment to focus in the regular season. Lock in. This is it. There's no excuse from here on out.
The reason I think Chihuahua is so difficult to beat at home is because they have an incredible positional awareness on that small field. They're both aware of the bounces of the ball, where it's likely to come down. They work all the time on doing those little half ollies out of the air that they smash in, kind of like we saw Mendez do in the St. Louis match. But I think you have to have a conservatism which is weird to say when you're playing inside a pinball machine. But the thing you can't do is something the Sockers like to do, and something they're usually pretty good at, which is having a guy like a Ruggles, sort of, but he's out of the game right now, come up, take somebody on, try and drive in for a goal. You can never keep your defender. Your defenders have to be in position in the back, and your midfielders have to be in position, and you need your forwards to score down in Chihuahua. It's a difficult place to play, but with the ball soaring up and down and back and forth and over your head and bouncing high, like, getting out of position is where they kill you. And of course, as Xavier mentioned, set pieces, it feels like the goal is 2.5 times wider in Chihuahua than any other place. And the set pieces just feel like they zig you, they get the team spread out, and they find an easy goal every time.
Yeah, it's an off-tempo field. It's an off-tempo arena. If the Sockers are going to the beat, they know where they're supposed to be. And every time the ball bounces, for every one bounce, it's 3 bounces in Corner Sport Arena because of the dynamics of that. And taking care of adjusting to that, by the time you try to adjust, it's already too late. You're already 5 goals down. And that's what Chihuahua takes advantage of. They know exactly the intricacies of Corner Sport. But how do you prepare for that? How do you replicate that? I'm not too sure, other than preparing as much as you can on small-sided fields. Your best case would be, again, a Luis Morales coming in. It's like it's as close as a futsal field as you can potentially get, but you don't have that. You don't have that luxury. You got to go in you got to win with the army that you have, not the army that you want.
Yeah. And, is there a world where the Sockers could get maybe some of those players down one time for a playoff trip in the finals? I don't know. But, man, you handicap it, and you really like Chihuahua's chances on Friday. I hate to put it that way. I mean, I root for the Sockers to win every time. I believe that they can do it. But are they going to play this team? Is it going to be Mendez and Ponce and Juras and Big Rojo? I mean, listen, you want Big Rojo in any game you can play, no matter where. If you're playing on Mars, you want Big Rojo on the team if you can have him. But and if you kick one high on Mars, it just keeps going. It's tricky. This is going to be a tricky one. And if the Sockers pull it out, it won't just be the win of the year. It'll be the win of 3 years. It'll be their best regular season win in 3 years. And I'll tell you what, if I'm going to put one, throw my dart at the board, it's going at number 9. Usually, Chihuahua just puts everything on Morgan. They just throw everything at, and they're just like, not you, Tavoy, not you. Is Tavoy going to be able to be that guy that dimes it off just a little bit on Friday and doesn't always try? But right now he is scoring so well. Can he find his spots to get the left foot open, the right foot open? He's in. I feel like the games that the Sockers have won down there, they've done it with Tavoy having big games. And then since then, Chihuahua's been like, Tavoy won't beat us. And then the Sockers haven't won. So how does that dynamic play out basically, is what I'm going to be really looking at first and foremost on Friday night.
Yeah, and they're gonna poke you mentally. That's what Chihuahua does. They're gonna try to get into his head. They're gonna foul him. They're gonna early on. They don't care who's gonna be in the box because go ahead and score 1 goal, Sockers. We can come back and score 2. Like that. That'll be the mentality. And if you can discombobulate that offense through Morgan and really frustrate the offense for the San Diego Sockers, it's going to be a long night for them. But again, this takes a team. This takes concentration. This takes elite level preparation to go in to Corner Sport Arena and really take any points back. As you mentioned, it could be an overtime win. It could be a 1-0 win at the end of Friday. The most unlikely of things to ever happen. But you got the win. That's what you need to do. You need to win on Friday against Chihuahua Savage.
If the Sockers beat the Savage 1-0 on Friday, I think I'll add some Alfredo sauce to this beanie and see how much of it, just see what I can do with it from a consumption standpoint. But I'd love to see a Sockers win no matter what the score is. And if they do, like I said, it's just one of the wins of all time. So best of luck to the boys down south. And if not, it's still not impossible for them to get number 1, but it requires a Harrisburg result at home against Chihuahua. So, I've learned to not count on Pennsylvania to deliver a result that I'm looking for this year. And I'll believe that to continue going forward. Okay, that's it for the show tonight. Clocking in at 1:40, but with 3 game recaps and a huge game preview. Not a surprise all the way around. All right. Tony, on the way out, please, once again, I gave you guys a big pump. Let everyone know how they can support San Diego.
Absolutely. You can follow us on San Diego.Futbol, San Diego.Futbol. Check out the website. We actually have some new items of merch coming in. You can represent anything of San Diego.Futbol coming in. San Diego.Futbol on YouTube, 2 balls and a mic every Monday at 8 p.m. And check out anything that we have SDFC related, San Diego Waiver related. Soccer is alive in San Diego. San Diego is a soccer city, and we're here for you. San Diego.Futbol.
Indeed. If you'd like to know how you can support me personally, patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub, which is where my Padres Hot Tub community continues to grow, and where I continue to do the show with Chris Reed and Rafi Cantor with live shows. Well, we don't do it like you guys. We just tape the show and then we put it up on YouTube. So we usually record on Sundays, sometimes on Mondays. Every once in a while we go live, but not all the time. But nonetheless, still there, still here with you. Patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. Thank you so much. Follow me on Blue Sky at 619 Sports. Follow me on Instagram at 619 Sports and Life. And that's it. I'm not. That's it for the plugs. That's it for the plugs. Thanks for nothing, corporate radio. Cool on you for being you.
You know who you are, radio.
If you want to hear somebody who really doesn't know soccer talk about it. But stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for more. More surprises, more excitement still to come. Okay. For Tony Sanchez, I'm Craig Elston. Thank you to our incredible Sockers fans. Can't wait to see you guys soon. We'll be back next Tuesday with another episode of Sockers Overtime right here on San Diego.Futbol on YouTube. And until then, have a great weekend. And down in Mexico, go Sockers! Vamos, Sockers!
Vamos, canijo.